my channel, and this is day 16 of the Spring To It / VEDA Videoathon, and I am changing today's prompts. Today's prompt for Spring To It is actually my favorite side characters, but I have done that video a couple of times, so I will just link it in the cards up there so you guys can take a look at that. So instead, you guys are getting my week 2 of April, so April the 8th through the 14th, what I read, and a wrap-up. As I said, this is the second week of April's wrap-up, and that's from April the 8th until April the 14th, and I read a total of 6 books, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about these books. So the first book I read was Retreat, The Getaway #1 by Jay Crownover, and I placed this book in contemporary. I gave it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this book probably would have been better if I had not listened to it. I definitely think back now that I'm, thinking about the book and everything like that. If I had not listened to it on audiobook, the narrator's voice was just way too gravelly, and it was only a female narrator for both characters of Lenore and Cyrus. Oh, yeah. Even when I sped it up, it was just barely tolerable. But the story, as I said, it follows Lenore and Cyrus. Lenore is a female from New York, or from a big city, maybe San Francisco or something like that. It's one of the big cities. And they decide, her and her friend decide to go to Wyoming, I believe, to go for a getaway and into the wilderness. So the story where she meets Cyrus. Cyrus is the oldest boy and of this family that runs this getaway retreat type thing. And the story for me was okay. I wanted more from the side characters that were involved, which is book number 2 and book number 3. Although all of these books are standalone books, I was not feeling Lenore and Cyrus. I was just like, oh my goodness. And the way that they continued to talk about how dirty they were because they were in the wilderness, I was just like, ugh, do I have to hear about how stinky and smelly I am again? And it was like, okay, I got that. And then there was some twists and turns that went in there that kind of dragged me back into the story and didn't allow me to DNF the book altogether. And then once I got to the end, I was like, I want to know about the side characters, the secondary characters. And then that's when I went and looked to find out that the second book and the third book follow the other 2 brothers that are involved in this first book. So then the second book that I read was A Room for Just a Little Bit More, Cranberry Inn 2.5, which was a novella by Beth Ehemann. And, oh, yes, so many feels. I gave it 4 stars. I placed this in contemporary. As I said, it's a novella and a add-on to the Cranberry Inn series. So good, so good. I listened to it on audiobook. You're following up on Casey and Brody's journey of love, and it just, so good. I loved it. The third book was The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I placed this in steampunk. I read it for my 2018 Genreathon for adventure, as well as my 2018 romance roundabout for steampunk. And oh my goodness, I give it 2 stars. I listened to it on audiobook. It was super boring, and I want my 4 hours back. That's it. Just bad. Just bad. Horrible. The third book that I read was American Prince in the new Camelot series by Simone. Oh my goodness. 5 humongous stars. I listened to it on audiobook. It's in the erotica freaking category, and oh my god, this story continues with Greer, Emery, and Ash. This section of it, you learn so much more about Emery and what makes him tick, what he was about, and just, oh, so good. So it does pick up where American Queen ends, but then it does like the flashback thing that American Queen did, and it was just so, oh, it's so good. So good. I mean, it was just good. I just can't even. I know it's very controversial. It definitely made me think about the things that I am okay with in life and not trying to judge other people and their lifestyles and just, yes, because I've heard other reviews and heard other YouTubers talk about how horrible it was, and you know, it's just not their taste. Or actually, I don't even know if they say it was their taste or not, but I just know that I've heard them say that it was they didn't like it and stuff like that. I read it, I loved it, and it's just that little darkness that I needed, and no, it wasn't little darkness. It was a whole crap load of darkness, but I loved every dark moment of it. It was so good, so good. Made me run out and get American King, and I'm loving this series. Absolutely loving this series. If you like dark and twisted and crazy and just yes, so many yeses. The fourth book that I read was Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I placed this in the young adult category. I gave it 4.5 stars. I listened to this one on audiobook as well. And your characters, you have Misha and Ryan, and they are pen pals from the 5th grade or something like that. Something crazy, some young age, they were paired as pen pals. And then something happens and they sort of lose touch with each other. So I was on the fence about this book, and part of the twist was shown to you right in the beginning of the book, and I was like, okay, how can they not see what's going on? This just doesn't make me, okay, I'm gonna push through because I kind of want to know what else is going on. And then some more twists and turns happened, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it. It's a little bit more, it was a lot more to do with bullying and what teenagers are going through these days, which is why I gave it 4.5 stars. And it was definitely relatable to the social standing that teens are going through today. Like what my now double-digit little fishy will have to go through in a couple years, and I'm dreading it, but at the same time, so relatable, so relatable. And then the final book that I read last week was Seasons of Spring, Seasons of Jefferson #3 by Julie Solano and Tracy Justice. I gave this book 4 stars. It is also in the YA category. It was an arc for me, and this is Jenna's story. And so at the end of book 2, something happens, and I don't really want to talk about everything that goes on, but I knew that we were going to get Jenna's story. So initially I was a bit thrown off because so much of this book, Secrets of Spring, was a retelling of the first 2 books, that I did find myself sort of skimming over it because I sort of knew what was going to happen, or I remembered what was going on. But the little bits and pieces that I did get of Jenna's story to explain the things that she was going through, yes. And I had to put in my written review that this book was so relatable, especially if you have kids that are in that elementary school to high school age right now. It deals with some seriously heavy issues, post-traumatic stress and bullying and cyber security and awareness, and just so good. So good. These 2 authors are amazing because they are teachers in their other life, and they're telling this story of teenagers, and you can tell that they didn't necessarily have to go out and research what was going on, but they could relate to what their students are dealing with. And this book is a platform for anyone that has kids to understand what your kids are going through, even if they don't talk to you on a daily basis, to let you know what's actually going on with them. These are the things that could be going on in their lives, and I loved every minute of that. So those are the books that I read from April the 8th until April the 14th, which is the second week of April. And have you read any of those books that I just listed off? What did you think about them? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.